Okay, we tried recording playing AMD the other day, minute by minute. It didn't work, so I wanted to try and do the 12th minute by minute. And this is my chart right here. And I want you to see these lines because basically these lines are the ones that I'll use to play it. And this isn't going to appear on the chart we're looking at because it's going to be trading view. But basically the main levels you can see right here are 160.35 to 160.65, right? That's a level. And then the biggest level here is 162.50 to 162.68. Like that's the level of resistance. So like anything up into this level was called resistance, right? Anything down into these levels would be support. And so I just wanted you to see these lines before we jump to Trisha's screen. All right. So now let's play this minute by minute. So what I want to do, Trish, is I'll say, hey, play it. Just start playing it. And what I mean by that is hitting the play button, and then I'll say sometimes, hey, just play one or two bars, and that's the button to the right. Does that make sense? Okay, so just looking at this chart that you have on the screen right now, what I notice is there's a lot of room between that red line that you have, right, and then that 160. That's your next VP level, 160.60 right up there. So does everybody see that air between that red line, right? Like obviously there's a lot of air there. And so for me, what I would be looking at is a way to try to capture that to the long side. Now, press play on it like one or two bars because I don't even know where we opened. So just go. So don't hit that button. That button. Hit that button like twice. Okay, so what we did is we gapped up, right? So for me, I would be willing to play a gap close. Does that make sense? So like, does everybody understand we're gapping up on that day? So I'd be like, all right. At this point, I'd be willing to play like I'm trying to read those numbers. 159. Basically, risk would be about 159 ish, and then the buying would start at 159.50 down to 159. Right. That would be the area that I would feel comfortable playing. So if you wanted to go long and try to capture that, like this, the gap up kind of screwed it up, right? It's like, okay, well, shoot. Oh, well, now we'll try to play a gap close and bring it back to a double top. Okay, be ready to hit pause, but press just the normal play button, and let's see what it does. Okay, pause it. Okay, can you on your charting, Trish? Can you zoom in a little bit more? Yeah, perfect. Uh, do it a couple more times. Yeah, okay. Do it. Yeah, right there. Perfect. So what's happened here is you would have been able to get filled, right? Once, maybe twice on a pullback on the at the initial position, but we've already hit our double tops. We've already hit our take profit range. Does that make sense? Um, so what's happening right here, right now on it is you're making higher highs, and we know this is the resistance level that we talked about right at the beginning. So what's the danger right now if you're long? The danger is a failed breakout, right? Your danger is always a failed breakout if you're making new highs. So press press forward like one or two candles, Trish. Nice, nice. Okay, so yeah, pause it. So for sure, right at this moment, right? Do you guys remember the resistance levels on my chart? We blasted through those little resistance levels, and now we're pushing to what I would call the next zone, right? That next zone starts at about 161.82. That's the line that I have, and it goes from 161.82 to 162.14. So the odds of us pushing through this zone right now are small. Why? Why is it small? Can anybody tell me why is it a small chance that we push through that zone? That's different. So the idea here is distance traveled. We've broken out. What we need is a retest, right? We need a retest of this breakout at 160.50, right? So the odds of it continuing to push through this high are low. So I would be taking some profits into this range and thinking, all right, if I'm bullish on AMD and I think it's going to continue to go up, then I'd be willing, or I would have the right to buy it back at 160.50 right here at that breakout, the open range break, right? Does that make sense? So press play like 3 times. Let's see what the next 3 candles bring us. Okay, so literally we're 3 cents under it. Oh, there it goes, right? Yeah, okay, pause it. So this is exactly what I just said, right? So we got that pullback to the breakout level. Does that make sense? So what is happening right now? What are whoever you want to say is in control of this thing? What are the market makers doing? What's happening from a psychological perspective? Well, you're just retesting the open range breakout, and all you're doing is saying, hey, are we going to have enough demand to hold this level right here, right now? And you've basically got one of 2 options right here. So like Zach, you know, I'm always like a double bottom, triple bottom, you know, is going to break through, inverted head and shoulder, you know, all the things that I always say. One of 2 things needs to happen right here. One, if it's going to stay bullish, you need to come back and put in like it would either be a double bottom or double top type atmosphere. So let's say you get a push back up right here, your bounce comes back to 161, and then you come back down to 160, whatever, 30-ish, 20-ish, wherever that low is. And then you create a little W right here, and then you bounce back up to 162 for your double top, right? That's a W that can be put in right there. Well, what else can be put in right there? Well, it could also be an inverted head and shoulders, right? So let's say you bounce from here up to that 161 area, and then you get a pullback to 160.20, and you break the low. Well, then what's the next option? The next option would be, and here I'll draw this on my chart so you guys can see it. Let me. I know you guys aren't going to be able to see it live, but the recording will pick it up. So I'll voice it, but then I'm going to draw it. So what we've got here is we've come down and we hit that 160, whatever our low is here, 160.25-ish. You usually get a bounce off of this retest level, which was the breakout level, and then it'll either reject at 161, 161.20, somewhere in there. If it goes straight back up to the double top, that's extremely strong. That doesn't normally happen. If it goes all the way back up to 162, that's extremely strong. But normally you'll put in some kind of resistance in this area. You'll come in, and then we'll see if it double bottoms at that 161.20. But if that low breaks, if this low breaks, then the only option is an inverted head and shoulders, right? Or another double bottom here, and then another inverted head and shoulders. But you start getting below everybody, that's a problem. So, all right, let's hit play. No, I'm sorry. Hit the Hit the one to the right, Trish. Hit that like 3 times because I just want to see where this goes. Okay, so right here, right now. That's perfect. Yeah. So right here at this moment, Zach, can you tell me what am I thinking? Yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah. Yes, exactly. So what pattern are we making? What are the rules? What are the if-then statements for it? And does anybody know? I just went over it, right? So we've got, is this going to hold? If this is going to hold and start pushing back up and we start, let's just pretend it holds and we push back up to 161. Well, that's your W. That's your perfect double bottom here off of that 160, whatever, 35, 20, whatever that is. And then it will most likely, if we get a push up to this 161, it'll most likely break and will go up. But the other option that it can do is if it bounces from here and then rolls over and doesn't create a higher high or even a double top, you're going to start making a descending triangle, right? Well, the head and shoulders is if it breaks right here. If it doesn't hold right here, it's your head and shoulders. So your options are this. If it doesn't hold, maybe it'll be a head and shoulders. If it does hold, it should push all the way back up to 161 for the W breakup pattern. If it doesn't push back up to 161, then it's going to put in a lower high, which starts your descending triangle type formation. And so at this point, I'm going to draw it here. This is your descending triangle if it doesn't push all the way back up. This is your W pattern if it does, so you can break this neckline. And then if it does break down here, well, now you've created a new low. So you've got one of two options, possibly inverted head and shoulders, right, like that. Or it will be another double bottom down there, and you just keep pushing it out further and further. Okay, so hit that. Yeah, you can't see it. I'm drawing it on my screen. It'll be on the recording. So hit that, not the play button, but the forward button. Yeah, hit that 1 time. Yeah, okay. Stop right there. So what do we got here, guys? Well, you've created a lower low, right? And so what's happening right now is, do you see the morning opening range? Like if you were to bring your mouse over to the left, Trish, like no, I'm sorry, go to the right. Yeah, go at this right where it says 12. Yeah, do you see all that right where your mouse is? Do you see all that? Yeah, all that consolidation area. So like from 12, from 9:30 to basically, what is that, 9:40? You see that range that was created? So this area is what we're now climbing into. So the odds of bouncing in this area off of this point of control from that area from 9:30 to 9:40 is pretty high. What we don't know is, are we going to get a push back up above the consolidation that just happened a few minutes ago, or is that going to reject? So you've got basically 2 consolidation points here that you're going to be playing against. And you're going to be playing against the 9:30 to the 9:40 is going to be playing against the people from basically 9:45 to 9:55, right? So who's going to win? I don't know. Is it going to be able to chew up and through the people that played at 9:45 to 9:55? I don't know. So hit play on it, like, or hit the forward button a couple times, and let's just look at it. Okay, so ultimately, if it comes back up and breaks it back into the people from 45 to 55, what you're going to be looking for is an inverted head and shoulders. If it cannot break back into the people from 9:35 to 9:45, I'm sorry, from 9:45 to 9:55, right, just the range right above these people right here, I'm going to put it on the recording. If it rejects here at if it rejects at 160.40 or 50, then ultimately it's going to be another double bottom, and then if it breaks, another inverted head and shoulders, right? But eventually you're going to get underneath the bulk of the people, and it's going to turn into a bearish trade versus you need to give up on your bullish trade. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now press play a couple more times. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now what have we created? We've gotten back into those people. Yeah, pause it. So can you go backwards 2 candles? I don't know if that's possible. Here, click. What does select bar do? Yeah. Yes. Here, click on. Do you see the last 3 candle that you got on your screen, Trish? Hit select bar and click that. Let's see if it takes it back to that level. No, never mind. Did I just screw it up? How do we get back? So now that we bounce from here, actually let me actually do this. 1 second. So again, I'm going to say it again. Because we bounced back into these people, it now becomes an possible inverted head and shoulders, right? If it was going to reject here and roll over, then it's a double bottom or a possible inverted head and shoulders again, right? And you just continue to play that until the bounce happens. Okay, so at this point, it's like from the bullish perspective, if this breaks down, right, you're literally breaking down volume profile. You're literally hitting your open range breaks support zone for the second time, right? So this would be bad if it breaks down, which it did, right? So we continually make lower lows. Oh, do I really? Okay. So now let's see. All right. So we came down and we broke lows. So at this point, guys, for me, like it's like, all right, let's try to catch a bounce. You know, we made some money. We made some money in here. If we wanted to add back, sell some, you know, stop out. Like I would be out of the trade completely. Like it's just broken down. So one of 2 things is going to happen here. You start looking for a failed breakdown and a reverse back up, because basically you have two options always. You're either going to create nice clean patterns, work your way up, work your way down, or you're going to create the broadening formation that Zach always talks about. All a broadening formation is chop. That's all it is. So you go boop, boop, boop. I'm not a very good drawer. I can't even draw a broadening formation. Boop, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher. Who wants to play this? Like, to me, it's just, I don't play this. This is chop. Give me a direction and I'll play that direction, right? So I stay away from things like this. If you wanted to play it, that's fine, right? You can draw your levels and stuff like that, but for me, I don't. So right now, I'm looking for clean direction. Can we get a failed breakdown to break back up to the bullish side? Because right now, I'm short biased. So any time that AMD comes back into these levels, I would be shorting it. I'd be like, yeah, no thank you. I don't want to play this to the long side. It's just too weak. Does everybody understand why? If you don't understand why, just, let me know and we'll run through it. Okay. Oh, Charlie's covering. Okay. Jeez. No, let me see. Okay, I think I got everybody muted. Now you guys hear. I know. Now you guys have to see what I have to deal with all the time. All these voices going, and that's not even including Ryan. You know what I mean? Jeez. Okay. So now the option is same idea. Is it going to be an inverted head and shoulders? Is it going to be a double bottom? And you just repeat this over and over again. Is it going to be a failed breakdown? Right? You just repeat this, and I have no idea. But for me, it's like I'm not bullish. I'm not getting in this, right? So let's just let it play out. I wouldn't be shorting and or longing any of this. It would just kind of be a wait and see. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe it is going to be a failed breakdown. So at this point of the chart, what would I be allowed to do? Right? Well, at this point of the chart, what am I okay doing? Well, you've got two choices. You can short right here, but I don't want to because it looks like it may want to push up and through because it's your third attempt or whatever. And if you were going to short, it would be really quick, like short here and stop out at 160, 120 or something like that. Because the next thing for the bull to be able to buy it would be a pullback into this zone, right? This support zone, which was the original breakout. That would be the only other way that I could say, hey, I'm willing to buy it back into this zone, but if it's going to be a inverted head and shoulders, 160 is my risk level. Does this make sense? So these are all your if-then statements going off in your head. Okay, so for me, this is a short. I have no idea what happens here, honestly. I don't know. But like, this is when you stop everybody out, like they stopped me out. You get these huge pushbacks, right? It stopped everybody else out, and so it doesn't give you the opportunity to get back in. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So I would love a pullback to here to get back in. It's not giving it to me. It's just saying, see you later, right? We've tried it 2 times, we're off. There's no way I would ever be longing this right here, right now. Like, the only option left for me is a short. They shook me. My opportunity to get back in would have been either here or here. But that's why the price movement is what it is. It stops you out and it just rips and it doesn't let you in. That's what we talk about when we say it creates the maximum amount of pain for the most amount of people. From a technical analysis perspective, where was the buy? Can anybody find it? We broke lows. We stop out. No, so they're going to cause as much pain as possible to the technical analysis people so that they can get them to chase up here, right? Okay, now we think about it from the supply and demand perspective. Heavy demand has come in somewhere between 159.50 to 159.85. That's held it up, right? It's like, okay. So I kind of put that in my head, and it's like, all right, that's a big over-under level. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Give me one sec. I gotta adjust a position. Okay. Anyway, all right. So for me, do you know how I talk about so far, so fast? I would be willing to short this, but the risk level for me would be give me one sec. Gotta scroll it back, make sure I'm right. $162.50. So $162.50 would be my risk level for the short. So at that point, you have to start setting up an if-then statement of absorption, right? So do you want to start here, add here, add here? You know, this is just how you have to decide how you want to do things. For me, I would be willing to start here. I would add here, right, at this double top area, and then I would leave room for up here in case it needed to do a double top reject there. Does that make sense? Okay, so here I'm just gonna let it go forward. I have see where it goes. So let's just pretend I got filled one short position. Let's say I'm trying to get 1,000 shares, so I'm filled 333 shares. Okay, so as a bear, I'm looking for this double top rejection area, and there it is, right? So let's say I got filled the second position at 161.82. So now I'm at 666 short, right? So ultimately, what you're looking for here is like a cup and handle type move, right? If you're a bull, if you're a bear, you want like an M type pattern. Does that make sense? So right now, as a short seller, this is why I plan minute charts kind of hard. This is happening quickly. I get filled on 333 here, right? I get filled on 333 here. So can you guys tell me, what am I doing right here, right now? Right on this red candle, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm taking this off, right? I'm taking at least half of this off. I can do all of it. I can do, depends on where I want my cost basis to be, right? And so what I'm thinking here is, if I cover 333, then that moves the cost basis back up to there, right? That's an option. And this is just how you guys have to learn how to manage and trade your own positions. For me, though, I would have probably taken maybe 200 off, right? Leave an additional half to a little over a half, right? So let's just say 333. Let's say 175. Well, let's just do 200 to make the math easier. So that leaves me still with 133 short here and 333 short here, and ultimately it's moving my cost basis up. And the reason I want to do that is because I don't know if this is going to be a cup and handle, and I don't know if it's gonna do this. Right, I have no idea, but I need to have room to, if it does bounce back up to this, I can add that 200 back, because at that point, as a short seller, what I'm looking at is a possible M, right? If I can break this neckline on the M, let's go. We're gonna go down at least minimum of right here. Right, like, and again, this is there's so much in trading. This structure, this pattern, is not good for the bulls, even though it went up like this. Can anybody tell me why? Like, why is this not a good structure for bulls? Yes, 5 minute would be the same. Yep. Can anybody answer, why is this not a good structure for the bulls? Nobody knows? Okay. Good structure is slow and steady retests, right? So that way, if it breaks down, we've got support. If it breaks down, we've got support. We've got support. So there's a lot of support underneath you, and what that does is it creates the VP that looks like this. It's like boom, 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 boom. So if you break down this PP, you've got a lot here, and you'll usually bounce off of this, come back, strengthen this out, and it's just safer. It's harder to go like this. Yeah, it's not only does it give you the boundaries for stopping out, but you don't have a lot of range to the downside. As a short seller, I'm looking at this and thinking, we could easily not bounce from here and easily come back to 160 to 165, 160.35 to 160.65. Like for me, I'm licking my chops now because there's just no structure here. We went too far too fast, and this is where the next structure is for absorption that came from here, right? But a lot of these people have already stopped out because of here, and so that's not going to be strong. Sure, it could bounce, but it's not going to be like, yeah, I'll 100% bounce. But this one could be strong, but it already stopped out. Like, we've already stopped out people. That's why I don't like playing these lower lows and these higher, like, there's just not good structure for slow and steady movement up. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so we get a bounce. As a short seller, I'm like, all right, I'm actually going to re-put in my order at 161.79 right now. The 200 shares that I covered, I've got another order to fill that if I get hit there. Okay, boom, I'm filled. I'm happy, I'm filled. Now I'm kind of like, all right, is this going to be a little double top and roll over? Is it going to create a smaller thing here and break through? Like either are possible. And then I'll add my last piece up here at this. So this is 334 order, just sitting there, ready to get filled at 162.42. Okay, what did we just create? So you see this pattern. If you want this to hold, right, ideally you put in a higher low versus this one. You did not put in a higher low. What did you put in? What pattern is this? Just right here, what pattern is this? All right. You know what I could do, Zach? Give me one sec. Oh wait, you won't be able to see the drawings then, so I gotta do this. Okay. So what is that? Exactly, it's an M. It's an M right there. So what we're looking for here as a bear is this to break down now. As a bull, what would you be looking for? So as a bull, you're like, man, come on, hold this, put in something like this, create a descending triangle, and then break up. That's what you're looking for as a bull. So those are the bulls and the bears fighting against each other. Let's see who wins. Okay, at this point, again, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. But at this point, where should we go to, Zach, or anybody? Like once we've broken that, we've put in a lower low. For me to continue playing this chart, it needs to do what on the short side? Yeah, it needs to come down to here. Like it has to. If it doesn't, this is just a choppy chart that I don't want to play. Like that's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to say, this is what the chart should do. And if it doesn't, I'm out. Right? Okay. Boom. All right, so this is where your cover point should start. Right? So now you've got 333 here still, and then your add back gave you your 333 here back, and you've already taken out 50 cents on 100, 200 shares right here. So you scalped out $1 per on the 200 shares. So now for me, I would be covering from here into here. So if you're looking at this, say on a 5-minute chart or a longer time frame chart, if we bounced from this general area, if we get a bounce from here, what could the bulls look at as a positive? Well, it would be a longer time frame, wacky head and shoulders, right? And that could happen all the way down to here, or it becomes a double top, right? So it's like there's your your head and shoulders, and if it comes back to here, this is your double top. Double bottom. Okay. Take all that away. I would cover at least 333 shares right here. And then I would be holding the rest to look for lower highs. So the 333 cover here, I'd actually be willing to add that back up here. So cover, put in an order to short up here. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so the reason this is going straight down, guys, with hardly any bounces, is because we went straight up. Does that make sense? This is what I'm talking about when I talk about structure. There's just nothing here to hold it. Like, it's an ugly structure, and we don't have anything that's clean. We're stopping everybody out. Zach, is this a broadening formation? I don't know. I don't pay attention to those, but maybe. I don't know. Because it keeps getting higher highs and lower lows, and it's like, is that one? Maybe. Not worth playing, in my opinion. Okay, so now I'll upload it to YouTube, D. Now it's like, all right, let's see if we can take our other 333 down to this lower double bottom area. And if what I would do here, because we didn't get a bounce, and if it just keeps going, I get it, just keeps going. I'm going to cover out 200 shares into this region, right? Wherever that VP is. So let's see. Do we actually? Okay, we're gonna. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so now I'm down to 133 shares, right? So I've covered out an additional 200, and so I'm sitting pretty. Is AMD going to go to 100? Maybe. Who knows, right? But at this point, the trade is done. My short trade is done. And what I would be looking for is I would be saying, all right, where's the real support zone going to start coming in? It's going to be down here at this 159 area. So that would be my next cover point, right? And so it's like, all right, just sit it and forget it. Put in other cancels, other order to cover at 159.05, and then a stop out if it breaks above this area. That's where I would have it. It's like, let's just let it do its thing. I'm not even going to watch it, right? But if I was day trading and I wanted to add size and all that kind of stuff, we continue to watch it. So there's your double bottom, right? You didn't get your head and shoulders. It did not hold. It broke. So this becomes your double bottom. Everybody see that? Now, the question is, as it always is at a double bottom, is this level going to hold, or is it going to put in a what? If this level doesn't hold, it could put in a possible inverted head and shoulders if it cracks the low. Does that make sense? So if we do crack this low, then you could possibly have an inverted head and shoulders. If it holds here, then you've got a higher right shoulder. Possible W pattern. Oh, look. Okay, there it goes. So there's your W pattern taking shape. So now that we've broken back above this level, and this is what's so important for you guys to understand. This chart right here, right now, is choppy as F, right? Like, it's ripping through things. It's been AMD. It's harder to play these. It's been harder to play AMD for the past, week or two, however long it's been chopping in a direction, because it's just been chopping in that diamond pattern, and this is just following that. So now that it's broken here, if I was watching this and didn't put in the set it and forget it, I would cut it. I would cut the rest of my short position. Why? Because the odds of it coming back to this is pretty high. There's still no structure here. Why is there no structure here? Because we haven't built any. It's just been straight up, straight down. So we should, and again, if it does not, this is the key, if it does not, then it's extremely weak. And let me jump back in my short, right? So I would have stopped out if I was sitting here day trading it. If I wasn't, I would just have my stop be up here, and I would just get trail stopped out, not watching it. But the odds of it coming back to there are pretty high. There it is. And so you had some opportunities here to get long if you wanted to, right? Does everybody understand why? Like, this is key. You have to understand why the odds of it coming back here are high. And so if you get a pullback and you want to play it, coming back into these support zones that are pre-marked, sure, great. For me, I wouldn't have done this most likely. I would probably still be waiting to short. All right. Okay. Now I trail stopped out. So now for me, what I would be doing is being like, wow, okay, hold on, let me look at the rest of this. Maybe I shouldn't short. Let's see. Hold on. No, you should. Okay, so this. Give me one sec. This to me is like, all right, yeah, it's looking pretty bullish. Does everybody understand why it's looking pretty bullish? It's like, again, we take our mind away from the 1 minute chart and the choppiness. You actually started to build some structure, right? So you see how we built some structure here? Right there is all structure. That's price action. That we didn't just rip right up. Okay. What this means is, if we reject somewhere in this area, where should we hold? We should hold somewhere in this area. If we don't, everything's gonna give up the ghost. Like you're just gonna tank. So now I'm like, all right, well shoot, now I'm stopped out of my short. I made some good money. Maybe I wanna get long. So what should happen here is, as you break this level, and this level, you guys know when I say a waterfall of stop outs, and anytime there's a waterfall of stop outs, there's usually a waterfall of buys as well, right? So you broke here, buy, stop out. You broke here, buy, stop out. You broke here, buy, stop out. Does that make sense to everybody? You guys see this? So what should start happening right here is not consolidation, but a trigger to bring us maybe a couple minute pullback or whatever, but you shouldn't get like a 30-minute consolidation period here. You should just start breaking. Does everybody understand why? If you don't understand why, please let me know. All right, let's see what happens. All right, okay, so break, stop out. And if you look real closely, what did this candle just do? What's the significance of that candle? Are you guys just quiet today, or do you just not know these things? Why? Why did it wash all the shorts out? Yeah, it created a higher high, right? Higher high. So anybody that had their stops there, boom, they're out. Same here, boom, they're out, right? So if that's the case, what should happen right now? What should happen right now is you should get an influx of volume. So your volume bar goes up. And if there's no distribution, what will the candle do? It'll go up as well. If there is distribution, you're looking at a possible liquidity chase and failed breakout. So if you're a bull, what you're saying to yourself right now, let's say you got long at this trend line break or whatever, you're like, all right, you got to go. Like, you got to go, and you got to go now. Because if you look at this volume that came in, ultimately, all of these people, right? All of these people are right here. One minute. So if this does not push and give these people an opportunity to take out some profits, because they will. These are your scalpers, these are Momo chasers. You need to push up and away for a proper retest. If you do not get that, what are they going to do? Where do you think these people's stops are? Versus these people, or these people, or these people, or these people. These people's stop are high. They're much higher than everybody else's. And if they get stopped out, that's going to trigger a waterfall back down. Does that make sense? So that's what you're playing, is you're playing these people now. These are your most important set of people, because they're the ones that are going to be controlling the price action. They need an opportunity to sell and take some profits to lower the cost basis. So what I'm going to look for here is a push up and away. Okay, here we go. This is where it needs to happen. It's like, all right, okay, good. As a bull, I'm happy. Okay, we've consolidated, get a little pullback. Let's break up and away. Yeah, that's not up and away. That's not good. This isn't good. A push up into 162.50, 162.60 allows for a proper retest. But again, all you have to do is hold, and see if we can just hold. Still, as a bull, you're like holding on. You're like, okay, we can still do it. We can still do it. Okay, it's like you're, as a bull, you're on the brink, right? Because you didn't get, this wasn't up there long enough for you to market order out your buys that you bought right here. So your cost basis of buying above whatever this high was over here, did you have ample opportunity? Let's see, the high was 162.05. So did you have ample opportunity to get out above 162.05? The answer is no. It went to 161.25. Sure, maybe some of them got out. Maybe they got 20-cent scalp out of it. But you this needs to be higher. The volume's not there. You know what I mean? Like, this is trouble. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand why? Okay, so now let's see what happens. We just need to hold. Like, if you can hold this 161.50-ish area, you could possibly go. If you do not, you're coming back to VWAP quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're gonna, it's like hold. If it just breaks right here, you're coming back to VWAP quick. If it holds right here, this is always your if-then statements. If it holds right here, what do you need to see it do as a bull and as a bear? Well, as a bull, it needs to come up here, hit this level, consolidate, and break up. As a bear, it needs to do the exact opposite. Hit that level, consolidate, and break down. Okay, let's see. There's your last ditch effort. This is your last ditch effort. Everybody's about to stop out. It's holding. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Whew. As a bull, you're like, oh, maybe I can add here, right? Okay, so now this is actually good as a bear. So for me, I would start shorting right here. And I would risk literally high of day at this point. The chart changed where if we break high of day, we're probably going to break into this area and it's going to go. But for me, I would start shorting earlier to try and catch a sorry, that should be a little bit higher. Inverted head and shoulders. I'm sorry, head and shoulders. That's ultimately what I'm trying to catch right here as a short seller. Man. yeah, I don't know if you're not going to get it. So you wouldn't have gotten your short. So the reason I'm saying that, again, I don't know. But now that it's broken below these lows, you should go down. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have been able to get my short unless I like super chased it. But it's broken these levels, so it should start pushing down now. Yep, there it goes. Right? Does that make sense? So it's like you still had hope. You still had hope when it was doing this that it would be a W. But now that it starts breaking down, your hope's gone. Boom. The answer to the question is yes, I do pay attention when a stock has lower than average volume, but I don't pay attention to it on the minute by minute chart. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So if there's a chart that, like, let's say the SPY's pushing up on lower than average volume, sure, I'll push it up with you. But I realize that if we have normal volume come in, it'll be able to chew through these people a lot easier than what would be normal because you don't have the people there to support it. So do I pay attention to the higher than normal volume? Yeah, I did. That's exactly what I did here, right? Well, I knew it was going to be higher than normal volume because it broke out. That's what happens, right? So yes, I do, but not so much by the minute by minute. I do occasionally when you have the abnormal volume, but not by the minute by minute. Okay, so now however you're looking at this chart, if you did catch the short up here, if you chase the break, whatever, if you're like whatever you're trying to do, what should we say to ourselves right here, right now? Like, where are we? We are at VWAP. We're right at VWAP. So who's winning? Are the bulls or the bears winning today? Yeah, nobody's won.
Are you busy? Can I show you a video?
No, I'm busy. Give me like 10 minutes and I'll be done. Okay, bud. So nobody's really won today. AMD has gone up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, it's like, okay. Chop Fest galore, of course. That's fine. You can still make money off of Chop Fest. It's fine. But we don't have a steady trend, a steady pattern showing us, hey, this is what's happening. Me looking at this chart right here, right now, I think there's more people trapped to the top side. Can anybody tell me why? Why do I think more people are trapped to the top side? Which means it's leaning more bearish. Why do I think more people are trapped up? Yeah, I mean, it's just look at your VP, right? It's like, it's your normal, like if this was like this, then I would be bullish. If like this VP was here, this VP, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. But no, it still seems like there's more people. In your last ditch effort here for AMD, I mean for your morning, consolidation, whatever you want to call this right here. It's literally what is that, 159.80? Yeah, I mean, so what I'm doing, and again, you got to do this super fast on a 1 minute chart. I'm gonna draw a few things out, and I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. What I would guess is going to happen here is you're gonna bounce off VWAP. There's a lot of people that play VWAP slaps, right? And this is a VWAP slap. It just runs down in the VWAP. As a bear, what I'm looking for now is a reject off of these levels. As a bull, I want to push up into these levels and have a little inverted head and shoulders. So if we were to draw out the chart, you get a bounce. I would short this as a bear. I would long this pullback as a bull. So I'd get long 161.10 and I'd get short 161.50. For me, because I am more bearish on this trade because of its structure, I'm not gonna even try to be a bull unless it does what? It gets back above the main people. It's got to get back above this level for me to turn back into a bull. Otherwise, I'm short. And so, let's see. There it is. There's your VWAP slap. If you want to try to Scalp 50 cents to the long side. It should be relatively easy to get back to 161.35, which is your base here. These are the people controlling it. If it gets above those people, you're going to go back and double top. If it does not, you're going to come back over double bottom here and most likely continue the rollover. Man, it didn't even get back up to them. That's not good. So what I'm saying here on this one is, do you guys see what I'm saying? Like, they couldn't even bring it back up into these people that are right here. That's not good. I would be willing to short a breakdown on that. You guys understand why I'm willing to short a breakdown? Like, I wanted to capture it here and get it, but if it just breaks down right here, I'd be willing to chase it because it's so weak that they can't even push it up to these people. You know, maybe they hold it here, maybe it's a double bottom and it creates this W as a bull. That's what you can hope for, but like, man, that's just weak. It's weak. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. No. Okay, does everybody see the descending triangle? It's like, okay, it's like, man. All right, so right now what I'm doing is I'm putting in 2 orders. Okay? What you have to do is shorting the break down. You have to say, all right, if this thing, like, because it's at right here, like for me, I'm going to short at 160.45. Okay? So I've got a stop on quote 160.45 short sell. I've also got a short sell at 161.35, right? If it does bounce for whatever reason. And so my risk on this short sell breakdown would still be up here. Does that make sense? So I've got 2 short sell orders in that I'm willing to just leave in right here. All right, let's see. Not short yet, not short yet, not short yet, not short yet. Hey, so you're starting to break that downtrend. Maybe you are going to get filled back up here. So look, this is what I'm talking about. You've broken this. You've built some structure here. Maybe you will get filled on your short. So I don't like the short as much now as I did before, but I'm still willing to play it. Does that make sense? So like before, it's like, let's just roll it over. We can create the double bottom, cover out part of our position, and then see if it rolls. It already did that. I'm still willing to short it, but I don't like it as much. You've built out structure here. So for me to like the short even more, you need to start getting through these people. And being above them, like here, if what I would think is if we pull up to here, if it does have the strength to get up there, what I think would happen is you'd get a little check back, allow you to take some, and then you'd be setting up, which would ultimately be a longer term time frame, maybe about the 10-minute, another head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders here to get long, right? So I'm still short. I'm still willing to do it. I'm still holding it down. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay. How do I say this? Okay. I'm trying to quantify this. I'm sizing in, guys. Like, if this breaks down, it's gone. What I mean by that, it's going to the next level quickly. Can anybody tell me why? What did we just put in? What's happened here? What pattern? Why am I going to size in here? Why am I looking at this and licking my chops? No. No, not quite. It could put that in. But this is a higher right shoulder on a double top. Boom, boom. This got people to chase it long on this new high. It possibly stopped out any shorts and then just rejected. This is a liquidity chase right here. and now they're slamming it back down. So watch this. Watch this. That was my P&L. Did you guys see that? I don't know if you saw it. It's 847,000. That's what I made today on those that AVGO. All right. Why is it not pulling up PowerPoint? Oh, there it is. It's taking so long. Okay, guys. I just took the chart we're currently playing and flipped it upside down, and I want to show you. If you saw this chart, would you be bullish? What do we have? Oh, it's your woodpecker. Oh my gosh. This is coming to here for sure. You're going to come down here and double bottom this out. Does everybody see that? So if you have a hard time seeing it short, maybe you can see it long. But this is your woodpecker pattern. Does anybody not see that? And so for me, I'm licking my chops. Like literally, if this was the chart we were playing, well then you just put in a lower shoulder over here that would have stopped out any of the longs that were holding it there, and it still held. And it would have trapped anybody that was trying to short it to take it this way. Well, all you do on your current chart that you're looking at, right? And we flip it upside down, it looks great. It looks great for a long upside down, which means it looks great for a short. Does everybody see this? Like this is at the time where I'm like, yeah, this is coming down. Now, I would tell you this is an A+ trade. But what you'd have to understand about this is an A+ trade on the 1 minute chart. So you're not going to have the normal range that you would have, right? It's like so for me, the short and the odds of us coming back and, testing these lows are extremely high. The question is, are these lows going to break? I don't know. Like that's the difference. If this was a yearly chart or a daily chart or something like that, you'd have a lot more range. But there's an A+++ chance that we come into this area and test this general low, and then if that one breaks, and then that one breaks, and then that's when you'll see the wash. Everything's going to wash out, and then you'll see what the chart really wants to do. Okay. You don't. It's structure. That's it. You don't know. It's the structure of the chart. That's what determines it. Does that make sense? And normally when you have a structure that is built out like this, the structure has created the correct VP. So you would have a longer VP here, right? And then clear VP to this next level, and so that way it'll break up. So when you have that woodpecker pattern in that shape, that means you've got good structure. When you have a woodpecker pattern in this shape, then the structure is upside down. So what does that mean? Odds of it going lower are higher. So this structure, it's going to break down. This structure, statistically, it breaks up more than down. Yeah, that's what those chart patterns are. That's a descending triangle and an ascending triangle and all that stuff. That's the reason they do what they do is because of the structure that's built within them, because of the psychology that you're dealing with the people that are within that structure. Why they're selling, why they're stopping out, why they're taking profits. And so here, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm triggered in. Like I'm in now, right? Like my 149 trigger is in, and any pop, I'm shorting. Any pop, I shorted again. Right there, any pop. See how it came back up and retested this breakdown? I would have shorted again right there. Any pop, I'm shorting down to this level. They didn't give us another pop. See, You see how quickly that happens? So I would have shorted another pop and another pop. Yeah. Okay. So now it's like, all right, yeah, our A plus trade has happened. It's over because it's a 1 minute chart. Your A plus plays are like tighter ranges, right? So that level is done. So at this point, I'm covering out at least half my position because the trade's done. What we don't know now is where is the support going to come in? Are you going to get a waterfall of stop outs here? I would think the answer is going to be yes. So I would hold at least half my position to try to take it back down to here. And then once that breaks, it's like, all right, let's see if we want to hold 10 or 20% for a longer term swing short. And these are all, in my opinion, again, I don't know what's going to happen. But in my opinion, these are all short ops. Any pop at this point is a short opportunity. Just like if we were long, any dip would be a buy, right? So if I was long and I long this breakout, I would love to sell some into the next level and then buy it back here to the long side, right, if we're upside down. So it's the same thing on the short side. So heck, I covered at least half my position. I would start in early. I would start in around 160 and say let's risk 161-ish up here. Just keep getting short. Yes, okay. So at that point, wherever we got short in here, you got this is where you would get your cover. There's your double bottom. There's your stop out. Have we cracked the low here yet? I don't know. Let me put in a line. Not yet. So that was your touch. Okay. So again, I'm still like, as long as we are below these people, which is our woodpecker pattern, I am shorting the SHIT out of this stuff. Like, this is free money in my mind. It's like, yes, please bounce it. Please. I would love to get stopped out here, right? I would love it because if I do, it's going to set up another pattern, but I don't think it will. Statistically, it's not. So let's see. So I would have covered some, right? So your reshort, I would have covered half of this. I'm still holding half, right? And I'd still be willing to add if it comes up into these ranges. My stop out is above this level. Why? That's your woodpecker pattern. That's your retest. Short some more. Okay. Now it's getting a little concerning. I would be loaded on the short side right here. Okay, so now as a short seller, it's like, oh, okay, they've pushed it exactly to where the limit is, right? Maximum amount of pain for maximum amount of people, right? Anybody that's chasing the short down here, you're feeling the squeeze, right? We covered a little bit, but we're still feeling that squeeze, right? And so maximum amount of pain for maximum amount of people, right? Okay, all right. Let's see who's going to win. I have no idea, but my stop out is up above this group of people. That's the only way they can prove to me that they can bring this back up, and I still don't think they can. Let's see if I'm wrong. Okay. Okay, so if I took a short right here at this 160, 75-ish range, this VWAP, it would be a cover down here. I would cover some right here. So let's say I shorted 300 shares, or I'd cover about 100 to 150. Let's see if we can get another M. I would not add here. Because the reason being is because you're creating a zone within the zone, right? So this is a zone, and now you're creating this zone. And I don't know which way it's going to break. I still think it's down. I'm still leaning to the downside. But I'm less convicted, right? First hit, second hit. If it holds here, right? If it holds and it's like, let's say we create a little bird pattern here to the upside, that's when I would be like, all right, I gotta stop out. Yeah, here we go. Yep, no, this is going down. Yep, down. Man, this thing is choppy as F, but it's still heavy. Yep, there we go. So what did we just create there? Another inverted head and shoulders, sized in. All right, so here I gotta run, guys, but I want to kind of rip through this chart towards the end of the day because I think this is where Marlon was saying he did something. I'm not sure what he did, but hopefully I'll be able to answer his questions just by playing it out. So, if we were to switch this to a longer time frame chart, like if we were to look at a 5 or 10 minute chart, it's going to look very different. Let's see. That's a 5. That's a 10 minute. That's a 15. So what could possibly be setting up here? Maybe a double bottom on the 15 minute chart. Let's bring it back to the 1. There's a lot of, even though it is choppy, there's a lot of action in this area, which means there's a lot of VP being made. If you can get back above these people, it's very bullish, because now you've created enough VP to create the legs to get above these people, and you could turn. So for me, like my stop out now that I've taken and locked in my profits is going to be here. Like I can't let it get higher than what it's put in. So let's see. Man, it's testing you again. It's just so weak. Look at this. So weak. So again, this, do you guys notice the same pattern keeps happening over and over again? Look at this. Lower low, lower low, lower low, go. Lower low, lower low, lower low. But it keeps pushing, right? See, 1, 2, 3. You know, however you want to count it. 1. Is this 2? Is this 3rd? Or is this just the 2nd one? Right? Like it's this is a hard one to trade, but I would not be getting long unless you're playing it off of the previous day. Like the intraday chart is screaming short, but if you think there's enough VP to hold this here, great. So does that make sense when you're mixing boxes or not mixing boxes, when you're mixing time frames, like we're playing a 1 minute chart, we're playing an intraday chart. The intraday chart says it's not going to break above this level. Okay, great. Well, do you have anything that says we're not going to get below this level? Yeah, I mean that's some pretty good VP. Look at that. So would I be willing to take shots down here? Yeah, maybe, but I would keep it extremely tight. Like this would be the range. So at this point, this is where I would be like, man, should I sell to open a put? Maybe. So maybe I would sell to open a put here, right? But I would be more likely to sell to open calls up here. Do you use your EMAs ever? No, not really. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. I use them to set up structure and stuff, like trying to find stacked EMAs. When I'm using the TTM squeeze. When I'm using an intraday chart, no, I usually trade an intraday chart like this. Right? It's usually just cleaner. You know what I mean? I can see it cleaner. So it looks like we did hold there and we rallied into the close. So, you know, if you're a believer in, you know, buy on market close, sell on market open, then sure, you could have played that here. I personally wouldn't have done this. The only thing I would have done is sell to open puts right here, and then maybe if it came up in here, maybe sell to open a call, but that's it. And Melinda, for longer term plays, I'll also use this chart. So do you see how ENPH climbed above its 200 here? A lot of companies or a lot of funds won't buy it until it's above its 200 EMA. Now that it is, funds are like, all right, now I can start putting some money into it. So, you know, every different edge has its own rules. So if I'm playing something long term and I'm buying it below the 200 EMA, right? Like I can't expect a lot of funds to jump into it because that's against their rules a lot of the times. Doesn't mean I won't, but you just have to understand what you're playing. Okay. So Marlon, I don't know if this answered your question or not, but this is the way that I would have been playing AMD this day. I know you said you sold to open calls somewhere. And here it is. If you sold to open calls anywhere in this region, you did something wrong. Wrong. If you sold to open calls in this region, right. That's understandable. So, anyway. All right, I'm going to cut the recording. It's an hour and 15. My gosh, this always takes longer than I think it will.